Well, I think this will be the final video. This is number 8. And I have this roll of tape right here. I'm gonna pull it out. I'm gonna tape the whole thing really carefully, because right now it's laying here. And if I bump anything, it's like dominoes, right? You bump one and they all move. I've got it the way I want it right now. I've set all my grout lines exactly the way I want them. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. That looks big enough. And you gotta, this is a one-time shot. You can't drop it and pull it. Drop it. There you go. And then I just kind of pat it down. Get all the tape to stick to it. Every piece is touching, so now nothing's gonna move, so now I can rub it. Okay. Now that that's done, cut off the excess. Cut the excess off of here. Okay. So now you might be wondering, how am I going to flip this thing? Well, that's really not that hard, because I'm going to pancake it between two pieces of foam board. A second here. And this is a nice size medallion. This one's only 18 inches, so I'll be able to just leave this hole. This will just be one big tile. Shouldn't have to cut this thing up into chunks. Flies in here. Okay. So now we're cut. We're taped, we're cut. Got some magic foam board here. Slide this guy out. Right onto the foam board. Here's my pattern. Sandwich it. Flip it. Bam. Now it's upside down. Now I've got it upside down, which still looks pretty darn cool. You can see all the numbers on there, all the labeling. Now I'll kind of make sure it's all flat, that the tape isn't bunched up anywhere. There's a little bit of difference in the height of the porcelain to the stone, but it's not enough to make me want to grind the porcelain down to the same thickness. So I think it'll be just fine. Got a piece of mesh I'm going to put over it here. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Okay. So we've got the mesh. Oh, and my glue. This is what I'm using for my glue. Living in Alaska, I've had a really hard time coming up with the right glue. I've done epoxy, and I've had bad luck with epoxy. But since the local lumberyard here carries tech products, or like 3 of the possible tech products that they carry, Hydroflex being one, I've used it quite a bunch, and I found that it's a really good glue for the tiles. So I've got it stirred up really well, and I'm just gonna brush it on and try to put it on and not ooze it down through the grout lines so much so it's not spilling out the other side. That's just less cleanup for me to have to do. But I'll usually put a decent coat on, and one usually does it. Sometimes I'll have to go back and hit it in a couple other spots. But one coat of Hydroflex over this mesh on the tile works great. You'll find that some tiles don't really agree with the Hydroflex so much, like a really porous ceramic tile doesn't like to stick to the Hydroflex so much. So there, the tape on the front would hold. It gets a little tricky trying to glue it and have everything work right. But I've been doing this for, I don't know, 15 years now with this Hydroflex, and I haven't had any issues, knock on wood. If I could find a more appropriate glue, I'd probably try it. But there again, it's hard to get stuff up here to pay the hazardous shipping cost and all that mumbo jumbo. And I think it makes it even harder in the wintertime because then you have the freeze factor. But anyway, I've got half of it done here. And that's what she looks like. Just cover it in pink. If anybody's ever used the pink, it works great. It's a lot like Red Guard. It's a lot like Latacrete. I've never used any Ardex or any other brands, but just a mop-on membrane, it works well. So this is gonna dry. Tomorrow I'll be able to cut the edge, and I'll be able to just pick this up and flip it, and it'll be ready for install. The front side will be flat as a pancake, and then the bed of mortar will span this little fraction of the difference. You can barely see it there, so the mud will float that. Anyways, I hope you all try this. It's really not that tough. It's just time, and you got to have a space to work too. So if you got a little space in the corner of your house and a couple extra hours every night that you can just go out and play with tile, that's what I like to do. And this is what I found that works well. So I'm mumbling. We'll talk to everybody later.